Alright folks, how you doing? Welcome back. So, having now watched this docu-series a number of times about the Nuremberg trials, I don't think this was actually a movie. I believe it was released as a multi-part series, and it runs for about 3 hours. So if it was a movie, it was a hell of a long movie. But from what I've been reading about the Nuremberg trials, this movie is fairly accurate. It gets a lot more right than wrong. There are certain embellishments here and there, and there's obviously the Hollywoodization, for lack of a better word, but most of the general details are pretty much spot on. Göring's uniform is not all that great, having said all that, but that's a minor quibble, really. That's the one thing that the 2025 version does better than the 2000 version. But Brian Cox is an excellent actor, and I think he really did a superb job of capturing the essence of Göring, his loyalty, his zeal, his fanaticism, his patriotism, his unwavering, undying devotion to the Führer and the Reich and all the rest. You know, Brian Cox is really a very, very talented, accomplished actor. And I think this is definitely one of his more underrated roles. I've not seen him in a whole lot. I saw him in Troy, and I saw him in Rob Roy, and of course Braveheart, though he's barely in it for like 2 minutes. But he always leaves his impact in any role that he's cast in. You know, he was, if I'm not mistaken, the original Hannibal Lecter before Anthony Hopkins took over the role in Manhunter. That was the original version of Red Dragon. And he's a Scottish actor. He's from Dundee. The more I watch this, the more I'm engrossed in it, you know. I think it's very, very well acted. I know, having read up on the trials, that the accuracy is astonishing, to the point that sometimes things that are read in the sources are exactly what the actors are saying in their performance. It's like they haven't changed a single word. It's like the things that the characters are saying is really what they were saying, or is certainly along the same lines as what they were saying. You know, as I say, there are embellishments here and there. They do Hollywoodize it and aggrandize it to make it the heroic, righteous Americans to the rescue, you know, all the usual Hollywood bullshit, you know, post-Second World War propaganda. But this one, to my mind, seems considerably less self-righteous and self-congratulatory and gratuitous, and much more straight to the facts. This is what happened. As I say, it's not perfect. I'd give it an 8 out of 10, which is considerably more than I'd give the 2025 version. Having only seen the trailers, I already know that it's a lot of crap. They essentially swapped out one of the main characters in this version in the 2025 film. I don't know if Dr. Gilbert is even featured in the one they just released, but he's one of the main characters in this one. So it seems in 2025 version, in that version, they've swapped roles between Dr. Douglas Keeley and Dr. Gustav Gilbert, which to me is like, oh, why are you doing that? You know, leave him in, because that is the main thing that actually puts me off from going to see the 2025 film. I mean, you can smell the Hollywood off the 2025 version. I mean, it reeks to high heaven through the screen, to my mind. Whereas this one is, you know, I think this one benefits from being longer as well. They had more time. They were able to pace it out better and put more in. And there's a lot less posturing and political messaging and all that. Don't get me wrong, it is there. There are parts, particularly with the Americans, that make me kind of cringe, to be honest, and roll my eyes. There are a few examples in this movie where that happens. But overall, very, very good effort. Very, very solid. And also a very good performance from Alec Baldwin as Justice Robert H. Jackson as well. So, thanks for watching.